Got it. Okay. So we are now recording. Thanks for having me, Debbie. I appreciate it so much. I'm excited to hang with you guys. Also excited about hearing about that growth. That is absolutely amazing. So just a real quick bio of me so that we can get to what matters tonight. Joined the John Maxwell team 6 years ago. Everybody know John Maxwell? Everybody know who John Maxwell is? Okay. Zoom calls, we have to like mute everybody because there's like 1,000 kids and 40 dogs and cats in the background. So I always ask for jazz fingers. I know it's like a little bit weird, but like I speak for all women. So I don't think it's too weird to ask for some jazz fingers. Okay. So this is how I need your response tonight. Can we practice jazz fingers real quick? Okay. We got it. Okay. Good. We broke the ice. You'll be good to go the rest of the call. It's only weird the first time. Okay. So I joined the John Maxwell team. My first year had zero success whatsoever, like 2 total sales in my whole first year, which is why to this day, I'm very passionate about helping people that feel stuck. But then year 2, I went to social media where I was welcomed with open arms by network marketers. Network marketers were people who were working from home, who needed help with things like motivation and accountability and leadership. And so John Maxwell had put me in a really incredible position to be able to speak to network marketers, to help network marketers. I've since built a business that has done $2.5 million in the last 4 years. I have a book called F Leadership. It's the #1 bestseller on leadership, and it's really, I know it's called F Leadership, like what in the world? It's about rewriting what it means to be a leader. Too many times social media has made us think that leadership equals having a large following, having perfect pictures, building a dream mansion and having a Ferrari. And we start to equate leadership with more of what honestly is more celebrity. And as a result, we use that as our excuse for why we can't be a good leader. So everything that I teach is about coming back to like the core and the heart of the issue and what you really want to do with your life instead of comparing it to what everyone else has done with their life. And that's what I want to talk to you guys tonight. I want to talk to you about, sounds like we've already got some motivated people because you guys are like killing it in your business. So let's talk about how to keep that momentum going. Let's talk about how to take that momentum and actually grow it to the next level. And it's always about getting back to the basics. It's remembering the very basic things. So I want to talk to you about 2 things tonight. That is life vision and life mission. I want you to write that down. Life vision and life mission. These are the 2 things that I believe are at our absolute core. I personally believe that we are 50% human and 50% divine. We have a body, we have a mind, and I believe we have this thing called a spirit or a heart, whatever you want to call it. And that's like the eternal part of us. That's the part of us that really matters. Our body, we take care of it because we need it to exist on this earth, right? Like when the body's gone, we're gone, right? But it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is our heart, okay? And if you can find the language of your heart, and if you can connect to what you value the most in your heart, you can become unstoppable. Because sometimes we get a little too caught up in the outward things and we forget what it's all about. Growing in sales is amazing and it's awesome, and I'm going to celebrate that every single time. But we also have to remember why those sales are important, or we might wake up one day and go, you know what? I'm sick and tired of sending people messages. I'm sick and tired of saying the same thing over and over and over. I'm sick and tired. Why am I even doing this? Anyone ever thought that before? Has anyone ever had like one of those crazy emotional days and you're like, what am I even doing? And if you don't remember why you're here, it will be almost impossible to sustain the kind of momentum you need to have to get what you really want in life. And there are 2 things that I believe we all really want in life. Next to life vision, I want you to write this: what I want for my family's future. This is the future I'm trying to create. Now, this is the #1 reason most network marketers don't stick around, is because they forget about the life they were trying to create for their family. Sometimes we get so caught up in the rank advances and the bonuses and some of the things that feel good, and they are good. Like they are good, but we get so caught up in that we forgot about this life that was maybe a year away or 2 years away or 3 years away that really is what we dreamed about the whole time. Is there anyone on this call that's ever gotten to a rank advance, but it didn't necessarily get you the kind of money that you really wanted? And so you got frustrated because you felt like you accomplished what you were supposed to accomplish, but it didn't give you what you really wanted or needed. And this is what happens. I think we got Pixel 2 Mindy down here that just hopped on us, not muted, Debbie. Thank you. Appreciate it. So what happens is if we're not careful, we put together a few wins, but not enough wins to get what we really want in life. So here's what I want to do as a practice, okay? I want you to take a minute. I want you to show me over here in the chat box. If you could have any life you wanted for you and your family, anything, if you could travel to the places you want to travel, have the kind of money you wanted to have, work the kind of job you wanted to work or not work sometimes, right? What would that ideal life look like for you, for your significant other, for your children? What would that life look like? I want to see some things over here in the chat thread. I want to hear what you dream about. What's the life you want so bad for your family if it were possible? Travel whenever we wanted and be able to bring family and friends with us. This life, but with my husband retired. In other words, I want to have this life, but I want him to enjoy it with me. I love that. Oceanfront home for my family without debt. Helping others succeed, leaving a legacy. Financial comfort and traveling. Unlimited trips. Travel where we want, debt-free travel. A lot of people want to travel. Fixer-upper house designed exactly how I want it. Island life. Come on now, invite me. Lake house, travel without worrying about expense. We're retired. Would love to go on world cruise. Want my sons to be debt-free. Now, tell me this. Are any of those things bad things? Any of those things bad things? Because they all sound really awesome to me. They all sound really awesome. Now, here's what I need to know. If I could promise you that could be the life you actually get to live, if I could get you to put in the same kind of growth this year that you did last year, and then do that again, and then do that again, and give me at least 5 years of just continuing to grow at this rate, how many of you would be willing to give me 5 years if you could have all of those things for the rest of your life? And by the way, enjoy a lot of it along the way, because as you know, your income increases and you get to check some of those boxes as you go. How many of you would be willing to do that? Of course you would. So tell me why so many people give up. Why do so many people quit? I've never once had a single person on a call tell me that the biggest dreams they have weren't worth 5 years of energy and effort, and yet we get people that give up after 5 months of energy and effort. We get people that give up after a year or 2 years because maybe the rank advance didn't pan out to be exactly what they hoped it would be, because maybe they didn't hit the rank advance, because maybe they were frustrated and struggled. People quit because they lose sight of what the long-term goal was. We quit because we've actually been programmed to think about the short-term gains and the short-term sacrifices instead of the long-term gains and the long-term sacrifices. Dave Ramsey has an entire business built out of teaching people to live today like no one else so that later you can live like no one else. This is the whole philosophy of think about the future, not just about today. Now, obviously, I believe in enjoying today and being present. When I'm done speaking on calls tonight, I'm going to go hop on my longboard. I just got this in the mail today. I got this little GoPro here. Because of COVID, I'm being forced to be a little bit more creative about how to have fun. I can't go to the coffee shop anymore. I can't go downtown and have a cocktail. So instead, I'm just going to ride around on my skateboard like I'm 15 and take videos. I don't know. It'll be fun regardless. So sometimes we forget what that long-term journey looks like. And because we forget, we get distracted along the way and we decide to make pit stops. I want you to imagine for a second that you live in middle of the country like I do. I live in Oklahoma, and you're going to go on a drive to Florida because you want to be on the ocean. Does anybody enjoy the ocean? Does anybody like being on the beach? So you ask Siri to get you to Florida. You hop in the car, you pack up you do all the prep work, packing all the bags, loading up the car, filling up with gas. If you're like me, making sure you get some coffee before you hit the road, turn on all your favorite music. But then, I mean, that's from Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's like a 15, 16-hour drive. That's a long drive. I don't like to drive that long, but in this scenario, that's what we're doing. 4 to 5 hours we get in, and the coffee buzz starts to wear off. And you realize, you think you're like 3/4 of the way there. You look up at your iPhone and realize you're still 14 hours away. And you start to think, why are we even doing this? I don't want to drive another 14 hours. This is stupid. What is it that motivates you to drive the next 14 hours? Thinking of yourself on the beach, realizing that there's an ocean waiting for you, remembering that there is no ocean in Oklahoma or anything else to look at or see or experience. It's remembering why the destination is so valuable, and that remembering that the only thing you have to go back to is the thing you've always had. Sometimes I think we get uncomfortable, and sometimes I think we start to lose some of the excitement and the energy, and we forget what we were trying to leave behind, and we think, you know what, that was easier. Let's just go back to that. You forgot that going back to that wasn't a very good spot. Like, how many of you signed up for Color Street because you realized where you were at wasn't where you wanted to be, and you wanted and needed a change in your life? Jazzies? How many of you said, through Color Street, I found more confidence. I found a purpose. I found a place to belong. I found a community. And yeah, I also get paid for it. That's just like a cherry on the top. And what I need you to remember, I tell this to my health and fitness coaches a lot, you need to remember that your before picture, you can go back to at any time. Okay? And I want you to think about this for the sake of your confidence, for the sake of your excitement, for the sake of your purpose. We can go back to your before picture at any time. How many of you say, Josh, I got a much bigger smile in my after picture because of the purpose that I have from this company? You can go back to that before picture anytime you want. But if you have the option to create any after picture you want, why wouldn't you? Why would you ever want to go back to the thing that you said, this is not where I wanted to be. This is not what I wanted to do. I want something better. Please remember that something better always comes with some type of a sacrifice. John Maxwell calls it the law of sacrifice. He says you have to give up to go up. You can't go up without giving up anything. We only have 24 hours in the day. You got to give up some type of a time if you're going to do a new activity, right? But the problem is we forget that the things we gave up weren't as meaningful as the things that we are growing toward. Yep, I had to give up 18 hours of my life to make it to Florida if I were to choose to drive there, right? I got to give up some time. I got to give up some energy. But who cares if I get to be on the ocean for the next 7 days? Sometimes we forget you have the rest of your life to enjoy the rewards that you are working toward. And that's what I told myself when I started my business. I said, Josh, I'm going to give you 5 years to figure this thing out. At the time, I was only 30, Maybe not everyone started as young as I did. Maybe some of you started younger. But at 30 years old, I said, here's the thing. You're going to go all in for 5 years, and you're not going to look up. You're not going to look back. You're not going to ask questions. You're going to do what you're told for 5 years. And after 5 years, you have my permission to look up. And if you haven't got where you wanted to go, then you have my permission to quit. But you're going to go for 5 years, because if you can do that at the age of 35, you'll have the life of your dreams and be able to do it for the rest of your life. Do you want to hear something crazy? Made that decision at 30. And by the age, because I put my head down and just focused on what I wanted, day in, day out, week in, week out, by the age of 32, I had quit my job and was making $10,000 a month in 2 years. Now, here's what's crazy. I personally believe that most of you are only 2 years away from the life you wrote over here if you would put your head down and focus and stop questioning the path. Stop the start and the go, the in and the out on this month because the company's running a special promotion, but off next month because I had a kid that got sick. We let too many things in life cause us to start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. And as a result, it takes you 10 times longer to get there. What happens if I decide to stop and pee every 30 minutes? Well, it's going to take me a lot longer to get to Florida. Now, here's the crazy thing about momentum and growth is we don't actually get to call time out. What happens, John Maxwell says that the road to growth is always uphill. And the only thing we do by default is slide back down the hill. That's called gravity. Okay? Nobody goes uphill by default. You go downhill. And so what we think is we show up for a month, get excited. Oh my God, this is amazing. We're going to do this. And then we call time out for like 2 weeks because someone got sick. And then, we got a headache. And then like our favorite show came out on Netflix. So we ended up taking 2 weeks off. And what you thought you were doing was pausing. But what you really did was you actually went backwards. It would be like if every time you stopped to go pee, you actually lost 15 miles on the trip and had to re-drive those 15 miles. Imagine how long that would take to get to Florida if you stopped and peed every 30 minutes and went back 15 miles over and over. This is what a lot of you are doing in your business. And what I want to challenge you with is this idea that your dream life is only a few years of focused time and energy away. Now, I'm not talking about working 80 hours a week. To be honest, I'm not even talking about working 40 hours a week. I don't know that anyone needs to do network marketing 40 hours a week. But what I am talking about is showing up consistently every day to do what needs to be done so that you can create the life of your dreams. And I don't think that in network marketing, you need to do that more than 3 or 4 hours a day. And it can be done if you're really focused in as little as 2 hours a day if you just do the right things. Now, what are the right things? Well, I'll tell you this much. They're not making new graphics or logos or websites. The right things are talking to people every day. Meeting new people and talking to people about your products and the business opportunity. That's it. That's it. You do that every single day. That's all I was doing. I wasn't coming up with fancy graphics. My graphics were terrible, absolutely terrible. I wasn't doing anything super creative or like out there. I was just talking to more people than anyone else was willing to talk to. And when I say more than what other people were willing to, I don't mean 100 a day. I mean like 5 to 10 a day. But 5 to 10 people a day, I was asking, do you want to try my product? In 30 minutes a day, most of you could become 6-figure earners in just 2 years if you spent those 30 minutes asking people to try your products. Now, are there some other things we need to do to just keep things going? Yes. I know you have some customer groups and team groups and things like that. So I'm not pretending that you can just avoid everything else. But what I'm trying to say is there's about 30 minutes of focused time you could spend per day talking to people about your products. And that 30 minutes is what's going to pay off 2 years from now. But most people don't want to do that. Most people would rather use Canva or PicMonkey or something else to sit around and make pretty graphics. I don't know. Should it be pink? Should it be purple? I really heard that blue is like really in this year. And we spend all of our time doing things that don't make sales. And if you've already got positive momentum going, let's feed that momentum by doing more of the right things. And let's not let it get us distracted and think, well, we're doing really good, so time for a new graphic, time for a new team logo, time for, this is the one I hear from network marketers over and over and over. I'm going to redo my onboarding process. I just really feel like my onboarding process, I just need like some new videos and some pretty graphics and maybe an automated email sequence. And no one to this day has ever told me, I really like my onboarding process. No one's ever told me that. Everyone is, I need to redo it. It's got to be done. It's got to be redone. Why? Why does it need redone? How many of you have redone your onboarding process for customers 100 times? Nope. For whatever reason, it's just with people that join your team. When you get a new rep that signs up, here's what happens. 90% of them sign up and then never even like answer a message or email from you ever again. And so you think, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I should have like learned their personality type first, and maybe I could have got a Zoom call with them and I could have psychoanalyzed them and found out, what day they were born on and what time they were born and figured out like their whole human makeup and what their Enneagram number. And if I could do all of that, then I could motivate this person to show up and work their business. Have you ever done that with a customer? Have you ever called someone up that didn't use their product and said, can we get on a Zoom call and psychoanalyze your childhood to find out if you have some type of trauma that I can help you through? Has anybody ever done that with a customer? No, we never have. And this is kind of what I talk about in my book. When it comes to leadership, we somehow think that we have some type of magical formula that will fix unmotivated people and convince them to become motivated people. Part of the problem was that we needed them to do something for us to be successful. So we put too much of our time and our energy into them because we needed them, not because we wanted to help them. And at some point, you just need to release that pressure and say, you know what? I'm here if people need me, but I'm not going to chase everyone in the world around and spend all of my time and energy psychoanalyzing people because A, I'm not trained to do that. And B, I don't get paid to do that. I am not a therapist. I am not a psychologist. So I'm not being paid. I'm just going to do my job. And my job is to keep finding new people and train, yes, the people who decide to come with me. But a lot of people quit. For, what do we got here? 56 people on the call. And Debbie probably has how many people that she's recruited over the last several years? So many.
We have
right?
2,000 on our team, just over. So
2,000. And 56 are here. And this is the crazy thing that I hear from people all the time is they think that the really successful people somehow have some magic formula. The truth is the successful people have just as bad of a show up rate as you do. They just took the time to find more people. They didn't let the lack of show up rate keep them from showing up for another day. And as a result, Debbie has 56 badass women that are along for the ride. You want 56 badass women? All you got to do is go find 2,000 of them that say they want to come along for the ride, and you'll have 56 that actually come along for the ride. That was a little bit of a side journey, but these are some of the things that distract us from moving forward towards the vision that you have for your family. And that's got to be the forefront of everything you do when you wake up, is remind yourself what you're creating for your family. That's number one. Okay. Now, I also want to talk about number two, which is your life mission, because this one is also important, but I do believe this one comes a little bit more naturally in this space, because most of us are service-based people that really, really want to help people. And this part comes a little bit more natural, but we do need it to balance out the life vision so we don't feel like it's all about us and it's all selfish and it's all money and it's all gains. The other side of this is our life mission, and our life mission is what I want to do for the world. What I want to do for the world. So this is like our purpose. This is one of the main reasons we were born, was to help someone else on their journey. This usually stems from something that you have struggled with, a fight that you had to go through in your own life, and now you want to pay it forward by helping someone else through the fight in their life. Now, for me personally, a lot of it comes back to my life vision. The reason I was so motivated to stick to my business no matter what I had to do was because at the age of 30, I had 3 kids at the time, and I had to check my bank account every single time I went to the grocery store. Sound familiar? Anybody ever been there? Had to check my bank account every single time I put gas in my car. I had a 88 Honda Civic. It took $13 to fill it. And yet I had to check my bank account and sometimes go negative to put gas in my car so that I could show up for a couple more days of work. Had to tell my kids every Sunday after church, Daddy, can we go out to eat? Can we go out to eat with Grandma and Grandpa and cousins? No, Daddy doesn't have the money. Gonna try to find another way to make cheese quesadillas sound like it's some type of a treat that we get to go home on Sunday and have cheese quesadillas. But here's the thing that I'm most ashamed of. Kids would bring home invitations to birthday presents. Put them on the table, tell me about it, be so excited, going to Chuck E. Cheese or Incredible Pizza or just over to their house to hang out. And I knew that I didn't have money to buy their friend a present. And I wasn't about to show up at someone else's birthday party without a present. So having 3 kids, knowing that things get lost pretty easily, instead of putting it up on the fridge and circling it on my calendar and instead I would just leave it there. And I said, if I just leave it here on the table, if I give it 3 or 4 days, it'll be gone. Who knows where? Maybe somebody's coloring on it. Probably one of my boys flushed it down the toilet. I don't know what's going to happen to it, but it'll disappear and we won't remember. And then I won't have to be the bad dad that said I didn't have the money. My kids are literally missing out on life experiences because I can't get my shit together enough to figure out how to make more money to give my kids the life they really deserve. And I started realizing, if I don't face my demons, I will by default pass them off to my kids. One of the reasons I was so broke is because I grew up so broke. It had been pre-programmed in me to think that having nice things wasn't even an option. Going on vacations wasn't even an option. Being able to buy things that weren't on clearance, new releases, was not even an option. And so that became my default programming. And I realized, if I don't change something, my kids are going to grow up to live this same kind of a life and have the same type of relationship with money and hold their kids back the same way I'm holding them back. So 1, I made a promise to God that I would figure it out for my own self and my own family. That's my life vision. But I also said, once I figure it out, I made a promise to God, I will spend the rest of my life teaching other people how to figure it out so that they can work through their struggles. That's my life mission. My vision is currently waiting for COVID to shut down so that we can go to Disney World with the money that daddy's put aside, to go buy a lake house, to get a boat, to be like the lake family on the weekends. But my mission is, how do I help other people who are currently stuck the way I was stuck to get through their baggage, to get through their garbage, to get through their limiting beliefs and create the kind of life with their family that they really want to have. This, I believe, is what makes us whole and complete, is that one, I have a goal for me and my family that drives me, but two, I'm also making sure I pay it forward to help as many humans as possible to get this for their family. And that's where I want to give a plug for recruiting. Getting people to join your team is one of the number one ways you can fulfill your purpose on this planet. Because there are other people right now that are literally praying to God for some type of answer, for some type of a solution, for some type of a way to change their life. And you're literally holding the answer. And what I've seen in network marketing so many times is that we share the product left and right, which I want you to, okay? We love the product so much, which I want you to, but we forget to talk to anyone about the recruiting opportunity to join your team and get filled with the same type of purpose that you currently feel. Your purpose in life is not just to rank advance and make a lot of money. It's part of it, okay? It's part of it. It's not just to win the free trip and take your family. It's to find as many humans as you possibly can to take on the trip with you. That is your mission, and that is your purpose. So here's the next thing that I want to do. I want you to take a minute, and I want you to ask yourself, what is the number one battle that this business is helping me to fight? Whether it be financial freedom, financial security, getting out of debt, whatever that is. And then I want you to ask yourself, how can I use this business opportunity to help other women fight the same battle? And I want you to turn this into what I call a mission statement. This is essentially like your purpose. This is what you wake up to do every single day. So Kelly said, getting out of debt. So she might say, my purpose is to help as many women and families as possible to turn their passion into a business that eliminates their debt and allows them to live a life of freedom. That's one example. Now, does that statement speak to you, Kelly? Imagine how passionate you are to wake up and work your business every single day when you remember that that's what's on the line. I got people counting on me today. I got people around the world living in debt, whether it be student loans, whether it be mortgages, whether it be car payments, whatever it is, credit card debt. And I owe it to them to show up today because they need me to give them the tools to get out of debt. We've got another one. Learning from the past, living in the present, preparing for the future. Ooh, I love that. So your mission could be to help others to learn from their past, live in the moment, and prepare for the future. Overcoming my TBI and financially support myself. So again, turn that into a mission of what you're going to help other people do, how you are going to help other people to champion this same fight. Does that make sense? Is everybody understanding? Is everybody getting the homework assignment here? Okay, when you have yours, I want to see it over here. I want you to write it down over here while I grab a sip of water. I want to see more. I want to see more. If you're driving, it's okay. You don't have to type while you're driving. But for everyone not driving, I want you to give me something over here. My personal one is I push entrepreneurs to live out their full potential. That's why I call myself a push coach. Helping women feel needed and worthwhile. I love that. Show me more. Where are they at? And I'm putting a little pressure on you. Some of you are like, I'm thinking, leave me alone. Creating a life of financial freedom and time freedom to live the life of their choosing. Oh, I love that. I love that. My purpose is to help as many students find their full potential at a young age. Yes, and come out of school without any debt. That's amazing, Ella. I love that. I wish you would have been around when I was like 20 years old. I would have asked you for help. To give other women the opportunity to experience independent success. What a powerful term right there. My purpose is to help women have the confidence to realize they are strong and capable of helping themselves and their families to get out of debt so they can live the life of financial freedom. Ooh, that's good stuff. Getting out of debt and being able to take my son on a vacation of his choice. So if we want to turn that into a purpose, it could be something along the lines of helping others to get out of debt and take their family on vacations or give their family the kind of life that they believe they deserve. Okay. Good stuff going. So I want you to think about this. What if you did what I do and you woke up every single morning and the first thing you did was reminded yourself of the life you're trying to create for your family and the mission you have to serve the world around you? What if that was the very first thing you did to remind yourself every morning why this business is so important? I'll tell you what would happen. You'd have more energy than you've ever had before. You'd have more excitement than you've ever had before. You'd be more motivated than you've ever had before. And you would rank advance 10 times as often because you would see the significance of every single win. So notice, I talked about how this kind of creates the balance of rank advances and bonuses and trips. If that's the only thing we think about, then sometimes that can be deflating. But if we align with our vision and our mission, all of a sudden, the rank advance, the trip, and the bonus is a measuring stick of how well we're actually living out our vision and our mission. And we're actually more fueled than ever before to rank advance, sell more, recruit more, get more bonuses, take more trips, because now these are just simply they're like the pit stops on the way to Florida. Okay. The rank advance might not be Florida, but maybe it's a really awesome amusement park somewhere between here and Florida. Maybe it is a really, I don't know, maybe you're a sports fan or maybe you're a music fan and you stopped for a concert along the way. They are the wins along the way that keep you motivated and excited enough to stay on the trip so that you eventually get what you really, really want. Does that make sense? So I want you to make sure you write these things down. I want you to make them your morning routine. I want you to remind yourself on a daily basis. This is not only what helps you to get momentum, but it's what helps you to keep momentum for the rest of your life. Someone asked me one time, I think it was like 3 years in, they were like, Josh, so you make multi six figures now and you have this thriving business. What is it that keeps you motivated to going? And I told them, one is my vision, which is what I want for my family. And I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to my kids, I will never be completely satisfied. I'll always want to do more for them because I love them to death. And number two, I'm motivated by a world that I am surrounded by that's still trying to figure out how to do that for their kids. I can't quit on them. I have to ask myself, what's the next book? What's the next call? I have no choice. And I don't say that in like a negative way. I say that in a positive way. I have no choice but to keep going as long as there is a world that is still hurting and still needs what I have to offer. That will create a lifetime full of motivation to show up and do something that the world will thank you for. That is legacy. Someone said above, leave a legacy. Legacy is the work that you do today that affects someone else tomorrow. It's the life you live now that changes your whole genealogy. I'm trying to change as many genealogies as I can. I want to be the very end of the genealogy of coaches that were broke and had no money and didn't know how to save and didn't ever go on vacation. That's done. I'm setting a new standard for my genealogy, a whole family tree full of people that have more than enough money to enjoy life, have a purpose, travel, write books, start businesses. You have the ability to rewrite history for your whole genealogy. I want you to do that. All right. Debbie, that is all I've got for you. I've got another 15 minutes before I have another call. If you want to open it up for Q&A, that's completely up to you. I want to make sure I've got time for you, so I'm happy to give.
I'm so excited and motivated. I've got to write my stuff so I can read it in the morning, every morning. Oh,
Yes.
I loved it. I love your message. I love everything about it. I got a text from a couple of girls who are in the car, but listening in the car and loving every second, which is
Awesome.
fun to hear. So
Awesome.
Does anybody have questions for Josh while he's here? Take advantage of it. If you do, you got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, it can be about anything. It can be about leadership, can be about sales, can be about social media, anything you want to ask about. It's the awkward part of the call where I wonder if people don't have any questions, or maybe it was too much to take in and they're processing. Hi, Lee. How are you?
There's Lee.
I'm well. Thank you so much. It was wonderful to hear you. It was exactly what I needed. When you said that you take a half hour to talk to people and know all that stuff, do you have a recommendation as to who we should listen to, YouTube or whatever, for ideas of approaches of what to say? I mean, how we can negotiate with, I don't know if negotiate's the right word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't have anyone specific to send you to per se, other than myself, without sounding too awkward. I have a training called the 21-Day Recruiting Challenge. It's $79. You can check it out at joshcoates.com. And you get like 20 different modules on how to find people, how to reach out to people, but also on how to use social media to tell your story in a way that gets people coming to you. I think that that's also important. But I'm also happy to share, a super simple script with you guys tonight. I think it's, first of all, if you're already posting regularly on social media via your posts, via your stories, you're already putting some stuff out.
I'm just going to mute you because you got background stuff. Okay, Lee?
Sorry. Okay.
No worries. So it really can be this simple. I think this is the part of business that we overcomplicate. Okay. So if you're already friends with someone, okay, and honestly, I would just go through like 5 people per day and literally send them something like this. And I'll type it up for you so you can copy and paste it. Hey friend, hope you're doing well. Whoops, typo. Hope you're doing well. Just thought of you today and wanted to reach out. I know this is super random. Not sure if you've seen my posts / stories about what I've been up to, but I wanted to see if you'd be interested at all in trying out my product, insert something fun, catchy, trying out my newest nail color, blah, blah, blah. I don't know exactly what your guys' newest product is, but plug something there that you know is kind of like the fan favorite, if you will, okay? My newest blank, or checking out the business opportunity. I've got a ton of girls that are using it to pay off debt, take care of bills, and even growing into full-time income. Now, here's what I put, because some of that you're like, I don't want to send this to people. So here's what I put on purpose just for my own ease and because I don't want to be the weirdo. I always throw this in at the end. If not, no worries at all. I know it's not for everyone, but was thinking about you and just thought I'd reach out. So this is a tactic that I use that I learned from Zig Ziglar, who says, if you don't leave a doorway out, people will look for one. How many of you hate going to the car dealership? I do. I recently bought a new car only because my brother took a job at Toyota. And I was like, well, that's interesting. My warranty is up on my 4Runner. I've been thinking about getting a Sequoia, but I hate talking to salespeople. If you're there, I'll stop by and drive a Sequoia. Bought one from my brother, but honestly, like in general, I've been putting off getting a new car because I didn't want to go talk to somebody. Like I just didn't. None of us like to have sales conversations with people. The second someone gives us permission not to have the conversation, it takes all of the pressure away and actually makes us feel comfortable having the conversation. So for me, this is a tactic that I use to make people feel comfortable around me, to either tell me, yes, I am interested, or feel comfortable enough to say, no, I'm not interested. Because guess what? I would rather have someone be honest with me than ghost me, even though that still happens sometimes. Because someone that is at least honest with me, here's what it shows me. It shows me that I have built something called trust. They felt comfortable having a conversation with me. Do you know what that means? That means if I keep posting really awesome posts about how my products are so amazing and how my business is changing people's lives, 30 days down the road, they also feel comfortable coming back to me. And for me, business is 10% who's going to say yes today, but it's 90% who's going to say yes tomorrow. Does that make sense? So for me, here's the thing. I want everyone to remember this. The goal is not to get anyone to say yes today. The goal is just to get them aware of what it is I'm doing, which makes them start paying more attention to me with my posts and my stories, and makes them feel comfortable enough with me to approach me when they are more interested and do want to talk about it. Does that make sense? The other thing is always have something free, and I'm sure you guys are already doing, I'm sure you've already transitioned to doing some type of virtual parties or something like that. The other thing that I say is free is never offensive, okay? So anytime there's a virtual party, I'm going to go through everyone I've talked to in the last 47 years and be like, hey girl, just wanted to make sure you knew we're doing this awesome, amazing virtual party this Thursday night. No hassle, no strings attached. We're going to be giving away prizes, blah, blah, blah. Just wanted to make sure you got a personal invite. Again, if you're not interested, no worries at all. Same girl that said, no, I'm not interested 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden you have a free party to invite them to. Again, the chances of them saying yes this time, a lot more likely. So again, it's just every single day, I'm just taking 30 minutes to ask people if they're interested. If not, no worries. Don't worry. I got some posts coming your way. I've got some stories. You might not be interested today, but to be honest, by you just reading the message, you're now more interested than you were 5 minutes ago. And for me, that's the goal. Is I call it omnipresence. I'm just trying to make everyone in the world aware of what I do so that they pay attention and follow along the journey until they can't stand it anymore and they want to join. So that's my advice. You don't got to overthink it. You don't have to have 30 different ways to talk to people. Just literally go ask them what you want to ask them. I think some people are like, well, let's talk to them about their dog. Then let's talk to them about their family. And yeah, if you've never had a conversation with a person ever in your entire life, you probably need to start with something like that. But for a lot of you, you got a friends list of 1,000 people. Like, just go talk to them. Yeah. And also take 15 minutes to go add new friends every single day. Go add some new people to your friends list every single day so that you have someone new to talk to 30 days from now when you run out of the 1,000 people to talk to. Okay. I hope that helps.
Josh, I put in the chat how you would say to me with building relationships, friending people on Facebook, that the work you put in now, you'll see the payoff in 6 months.
Yep. And that's what it's all about. It's all about the long game, which as network marketers, we should understand, right? Because your ultimate goal is not to make a bunch of sales. Your ultimate goal is residual income. And that's a long-term thing that you have to build up. And so sales is really the same thing. If I do enough of the right work today, it will build up momentum in my inbox that will lead to sales down the road. And eventually this happens. Sounds too good to be true, but I swear to you it's true. Eventually, after having so many conversations with so many people for several months, you get to the point where you wake up every day and there's somebody that's ready to buy. And maybe that person is from 6 months ago, maybe it's from 3 months ago, maybe it's from 2 weeks ago. But if you have enough conversations, at some point, a snowball effect has happened where there's somebody from somewhere in some conversation that's messaging you ready to buy. And that's when you become unstoppable, because you start selling stuff every day and you're like, I don't even know how am I doing this? If you talk to people that sell a lot, if they get real honest with you, they'll be like, I don't know how I make this many sales. But it's because of all the work they've done for like 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. None of us really know where all of the sales are coming from. We just know we did enough of the right work in enough places that eventually it led to the kind of results we wanted. Okay.
That's awesome, Josh. Thank you. And we have you again next month too, you guys. We have Josh again at the end. It'll come out on the call calendar. He's coming back the last Wednesday of August too. So we're super excited. I think people really enjoyed this call. You always have the greatest messages.
Thank you. Do you want to maybe take a poll on what to speak on next month? Maybe take a poll and find out what it is people want to specifically learn about. And I could do more of like a specific training call on this is how you go about doing XYZ or whatever that is.
Sure. Do you want to give us some choices, or do you want me to leave it open? I should probably give them some choices.
Why don't you leave it open and just find out what kind of different answers we get, and then we can create like a vote based on the different answers that everyone gives us.
Awesome.
I've been teaching network marketers for 5 years. There's not anything that I haven't already taught before. So like, let's just find out what everyone else wants to jam with.
All right. We already got some stuff in here. How to handle objections.
That's one of my favorites.
All right. Very cool, Josh. Well, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much. Hope someone's currently reading your book.
Awesome. Yeah, and everyone can get a free copy of my book at joshcoates.com. If you go to joshcoates.com, there's an option if you just pay $6.99 for shipping to get the book for free. And it comes with the audiobook. Okay. So you pay $6.99 for shipping, and I mail you a book and you get instant access to the audiobook that you can start listening to right away.
Yay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Love it. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we're all going to write our missions and our visions and start with them tomorrow morning.
Awesome. Night, guys.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.